You know, I didn't get into fashion to be involved in logistics operations. It's just so painful. We want to focus our time and energy on innovation and product and brand and doing great marketing events, and you know, we want to make the best products in the world. We don't want to be stuck talking to people about why is that truck not gone live or why is that product not live and all that kind of stuff. And ZEOS has really allowed us to do that. So you probably won't know who Jacket are, so I'll give you a bit of an introduction. We're a premium outerwear brand. Essentially, we saw a gap in the market for product that looked and felt like a Moncler, but retailed at a North Face price. I was sick of, that's really our goal. I was certainly sick of trying to buy a £1,500 jacket and not being able to afford it. And on the other contrast, my niece wears a North Face and Upty every day, so I didn't want to look and feel like that. So that's where the jacket brand was born. We're not a sustainable brand by nature. We don't try and push that, but where we can do, we try and control. So we have a conscious mindset of what we want to try and do. We've just joined a company called Redown, where we take old consumer products and recycle those. So it could be your hotel bed sheets, it could be your pillows, it could be old jackets. We take that and put that into our midweight and lightweight jackets, which is a really amazing initiative. We're now trying to do that full circle now, where we are working with another company where you can bring your old jacket back, where we repurpose that and put it back into the Redown family. So that's a little bit about us in that sense. Our business model is full omnichannel. We have several distributors globally, Far East, North America, across Europe. We have marketplace business that we're very passionate about and trying to build. We're going to open retail stores later this year in London and hopefully in New York, which is exciting. And then we've got a collaboration coming up, which I can't share at this stage, which will be really cool. And then a couple of activations in the Alps later this year with the Folidous Hotel Group. So, you know, really exciting for us. I mentioned marketplace obviously there because this is what we're here for today. I've been in the business for the last 20 years, and if I could go back and talk about marketplace 15 years ago, it just wasn't a thing. You know, you could go to department stores, get bulk orders, and it was there. It would come in, you get your cash, your margin up front, and it was easy. But those days are long gone. So it's quite I wouldn't say it's been an easy process. It's been quite hard to navigate at times. We've got to finance everything up front, but the benefits for us have been tapping into those databases. So 55 million active customers on Zalando. I think About You's 45 million. For us to try and do that ourselves would be, well, it would be impossible. So we like the awareness it gives us and also the scope across Europe. So that's a little bit about us. This is a bit more specific in terms of our journey with Zalando and how we found trying to get into Europe pretty challenging. So we first joined Zalando and we did brand fulfillment, more out of convenience because we didn't know how to forecast and just ship stock into Zalando. We didn't know how that was going to work, so we had the warehouse already set up. We could just plug and play with our stock. The two big challenges we found were first and foremost integration. So if any of you guys have got brands and you talk to Tradebyte and Zalando, this probably shouldn't be recorded, but you get given like a 3-month integration period. It's just impossible. Particularly when you're doing brand fulfillment. So, you know, we've got our brand, so if our head of marketplace is sick that week, she can't talk to the people at the 3PL, they can't talk to Tradebyte, they can't talk to Zalando, they can't talk to the couriers. So to get it right and get it all, it's just impossible, especially the world we're in now with working from home and all that kind of stuff. So that was our first thing. We tried to get live in 3 months and it took us a little bit longer than expected. And then really around the SLAs and the KPIs in terms of customer experience. So we didn't have a problem getting products out, but we had a problem getting product back in. Twofold: one, getting it back in and reselling it, so to increase our sales and making sure that stock's being worked on. And then secondly, with return rates. So returns were coming in, we weren't processing them quick enough and we weren't giving the customer their money back quick enough. So Zalando very kindly reduce your visibility when that happens. So to give you time to get your ducks in a row. So the knock-on effect of that was customers weren't happy, we didn't have product live, we were reduced visibility, we couldn't sell more stock and our GMV went down. So those are the two problems with doing that. Of course it was convenient and we did have some sales and it was a good time for us. And then that leads us to sort of stage 2 where we went into ZFS. So overnight your CXM issues disappear, which is great. So you're shipping stuff out in time. As a result, your visibility goes up. So we saw that we were getting better returns on our performance. We spend and we really believe in the ZMS side of things. So if you're going to go on that platform, I can't recommend doing ZMS enough. Some weeks we were getting 80 return on spend, which is just incredible. We'd spend €2,000 in Germany and get 200k back in sales. It gave us the opportunity to go from 5 to 13 countries. The data you can get off ZDirect is pretty impressive. Obviously we pull it from Tradebyte, it's live, ZDirect's a day later, but all in all, pretty amazing business. But then we also came to, once time went by, we found that there was a few more issues with that model. We met with Jose and a couple of the guys. I think it wasn't ZEOS at the time, it was called Multichannel Fulfilment. It wasn't quite at that stage. So we were really excited about that because the opportunity to run our D2C with a 3PL essentially like ZEOS was amazing. So we were shipping out of the UK, you've got the duties and taxes with that, which is really hard to navigate. So the two real main benefits for us were stock optimization. We didn't have to forecast by channel anymore. So trying to forecast for Zalando is one of the hardest things in the world. How do you know, if you've got 200 options, what's going to sell? You know, we're putting lilac jackets in, one week it sells 400, the next week it doesn't sell a thing. So the point I'm making is we can now put one bulk stock offer into that DC and it's utilising. Our stock's working way more harder for us, which is great. And the second big point is scalability. The thing I didn't mention at the start was Zalando did, in our first season, about 14 million GMV, so it's not insignificant. Of course, we're not as big as the PVHs or the Bosses of the world, but you know, it's quite a humble number. And Zalando, Ace, About You are now doing about 20% of that number, so it's not insignificant. We'll probably do 3 or 4 million with those guys, and it's been really easy for us. It's been seamless. And that's to the point about easy integration. We can now plug in with these other people so quickly. We've had cases like last week where the customer journey was changed and we had to add delivery points as well as drop-off points in some of the regions. So if we didn't have access to that information, we wouldn't be ready for it. So yeah, I mean, all in all for us, it's been transformational. If I can give any bit of advice really for us, it's that it's given us time. You know, I didn't get into fashion to be involved in logistics operations. It's just so painful. We want to focus our time and energy on innovation and product and brand and doing great marketing events, and you know, we want to make the best products in the world. We don't want to be stuck talking to people about why is that truck not gone live or why is that product not live and all that kind of stuff. And ZEOS has really allowed us to do that. So yeah, for us going forward, it's really about scaling next year. We want to turn it into a, you know, a £50 million brand. We're not going to do that by operating in the UK alone and by trying to do it ourselves. So I should really work for ZEOS, to be honest.